Hello there, my name's Vince, and in this video today we're going to be trying to install this Bosch dishwasher. The model number is this one here, and I bought it from AO.com in the UK. It was delivered today. And I took out the Zanussi one, no bother. I thought putting in the new one would be quite simple, but looking at the instructions, it looks far from simple. I don't think I've ever been so confused. I understand that they don't want to print instructions in every different language, but it really is very confusing. So I thought I'd make a video on it. Hopefully by the end I will be successful. At the very least, you will see whether it's something you could do yourself, and maybe the comment section can correct any mistakes I've made. So hopefully there will be use in this video here. So I thought I'd film it. Let's get started. Hopefully by the end we will have a working dishwasher. But according to the instructions, it does look extremely confusing. But let's give it a good go. With a little fixing kit, and I've divided everything up so all the screws in the piles are the same, so it will make it easier to install. If you're wondering where the fixing kit is, you have to open up this here, and it takes quite a bit of strength to open it, and also it wants to spring shut again, presumably because the weight of the door is not on it. So you will get everything in there, including this here. I thought this would be metal, but no, I've got this bit of plastic. Don't throw away, that's needed. This is where it's going to be living, just here, and if I open up this cupboard, you will see that we have a plug down here. We have a cold water feed, and I've got my drain here connected to the drain off the sink. I've got a feeling that I'm going to have to make some of those holes bigger because I have to somehow feed this through, which is absolutely massive. First things first, we need to fit this to underneath here, and the reason you do this is to stop all the hot air from rotting the wood. So this is like fake composite type worktop here. And you can see that because of the Zanussi one, all the heat's been coming out for the last 10 years, it's kind of swelled up the wood here. So just to make it a little bit better, I'm just going to get a chisel and I'm just going to scrape this back here just to make it a little bit flatter, because this is put on with adhesive. And if I put adhesive on all that dust, I've got a feeling it's just going to come straight off. This is basically to protect your surface here from all the steam coming up from the dishwasher. So I've just got a chisel and I'm just going to scrape it back flat. Obviously you should be wearing eye protection, dust mask, gloves, etc. But that's a lot better than it was, and I'm just giving it a clean so the double-sided tape has an opportunity to stick to it. And I'm just going to sweep up the floor. Right, so I've got this flimsy piece of plastic here, and that's the side that's going to be coming off there. So it's in two halves, so I'm taking off the sticky bit just there, and that's going to be the bottom side there. So we're going to be taking off the sticky from underneath, like so. So let's line it up. We're going to get some tape here and some tape here. Let's line it up and then we can drop it into position. Now I don't want it showing at all, so I am going to bring it a little bit around the corner. So for me, I've left about 1 mil gap just along this bit here. So when I fold it over, underneath this, the black kind of goes around a little bit, so it's not rotting there, it's beyond that. Basically, I don't want to look down and see a lump of plastic, so I want to make sure it's tucked away under that. And I'm just going to peel away the stickiness from that bit there, and we're going to try to get that in position. Let me just have a look from the top. No, annoyingly, that's sticking up a little bit there. So this is where I've already messed up, because now it's going to take away most of the the topping, you can see now. So I'm going to drop that down even further so you can learn from my mistake there. I'm going to leave about a 3 mil gap now, and I'm also going to put one in the middle bit. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a fresh bit here, because I'm not bothered about the back bit not sticking that well. So I'm going to spin that over. Let's get rid of the tape here and here. You know, if the other bit comes loose, it's just going to come loose on the dishwasher, isn't it? Sometimes you learn more from a video where people get things wrong than get things right. So that's about... I would say that's about 3 mil gap now. Okay, so I'm going to peel off that one there. And I'm going to start in the middle. I think it would have been easier. I would have found this easier doing this by hand. As I am doing it by hand. There we go. Right, and lie that flat. Let's get rid of the tape. So if I was doing that again, I would personally just do it by hands, because the bending off it, when I bent it round, it went a bit astray. Okay, so now we are across here, and to be fair, that has stuck all right. And I can't see it from the top now, because otherwise dust and stuff would have caught on that, and it would have really annoyed me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tape, and I'm just going to stick it on the edge there, just to stop it dropping down. Okay, I think I got away with that nicely, and it's not hanging over the edge. So next up now, we're going to need these 2 brackets and these 2 screws here. And it looks like all the screws here take a Torx 20. So not a security bit, but just a T20. Security bit will also be fine. So I've got my Torx 20 set up in here. Something like this you can just do by hand. I know how to use this, so I'm only going to be going in very slowly and easy. So I'm not going to strip out any threads. So let's get these installed. Now apparently if you're going into wood, which I am, or some form of wood, they need to go on this way round. So that's going to be going on like so. I presume that's seal. Where's that seal go now? So he doesn't mention the seal. And if you were to go into stone, then you've got to go on this way round, and you've got to bend this round. There's dotted lines just here. You've got to bend it round the shape of the dishwasher, because then when it's at a right angle, you're going to be screwing that into the side, the wood off the next cupboard along. But I'm going into wood top, so I can put this one in this way and this way. I'm just nipping that up. Like so. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to snip here and here, because I don't like the way that's bent there, and then it will give it, I think that will give it a better seal. So let's see if scissors do it. If not, I'll get some little side snips. I'm just going to cut the top there. There we go. So round the back of the machine, let's unclip the pipes from here. We've got our power cord that we have to fit, and we're going to be lifting this off. Now, there's nothing in the instructions about this polystyrene bit. I'm going to take it off. I think it's just here for packaging to stop the metal getting dented in. So I can't see that that is actually part of it. So I'm going to take it off there. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Now, we need to clip in this down at the bottom. And they've also given us a little clip here. And I presume that's going to be for the waste pipe. So at the bottom left of the machine, you can see that the power connector's just here. So we're going to be putting it in this way. It can only go in this way because it's keyed. It's got this bit here. So I'm going to push it all the way home. I'm holding on to the front. There we go. Right, that's fully in now. And to unclip this, we're just going to rotate it. You can see there's a little arrow here. So just rotate it this way, like so, and it just comes straight out. So that just clips into here for storage. So this is our feed. So I'm going to be feeding it with cold drinking water. And this is our waste, so this is where the dirty water is going to go away from. Now annoyingly, because that's so big there's no way that I'm going to get that through the existing hole, because the existing hole's only big enough for the plug. So I'm going to have to enlarge the hole in order to get that through. So the waste one's going to be coming through here and connecting onto here, so that's fine. But the bottom one here, you can see the hole's only big enough for a UK plug, and I need to connect the water feed to here. So I've got no way of coming through there. So I'm going to have to enlarge this hole a little bit here. I've got a Bosch multi-tool. It's one of those vibrating ones that do that. So I'm just going to use that. It'd be a lot easier than using anything else. And obviously I'm not going to cut through the cable here. I'm going across here and here. There's no cables in that area. There we go, so you can see now that that's out. I'm hoping this is going to fit in. Let's see, if not, I might have to make it bigger. Yeah, there we go, that's going to fit through. Now this was the thing that we clipped off the back, the packaging piece that the pipes were clipped to. But it does say down here, it says GB, which is a UK. It says that you can cut it here, and then can you see we have a little screw post just here, and also just here as well. So 2 screw posts, and then you can screw it in, and you can route your pipes through here, maybe to neaten it up. It does say max 1.1 metre, so I presume it doesn't want to be pumping any higher than 1.1 metre. It's not going to be a problem for me, because they're coming out of the bottom of the machine, and they're only going to go up about, you know, even the drains are going to go up about, what, 40 centimetres or something like that. I'm just wondering, I am going to have quite a lot of slack, so I'm wondering, would it be worth me screwing this in somewhere to kind of put the pipes against? Not too sure. I'm going to just offer up the dishwasher to begin with and see what's happening with the pipes. So I'm going to get everything in position and gently slide it back, and I'm going to put the pipes through where they need to go. Right, that big hole I did only just fitted because I had to turn it around on itself, but now that it's in, I'll be able to get the plug next to it because the hose itself is only thin. There would have been loads of room, but because you've got the wall behind, there's not much clearance to bend it into position. Right, in my instance, I think this is only going to hinder me from taking this out in the future. I've got nothing underneath here. It's empty where the plinth's going to go across, so you can see where the feet are. That's all empty. I've just got some like packets of tiles and stuff under there. So what I can do is when this is in, I can make sure that they're routed nicely, that there's no kinks or anything on the floor there. And that way then they're not going to be struggling to pump up too high, and I can put it out in the future. But you can see there that we have a little scissor mark just here, and that's where you're supposed to cut across. And then you see you can fit this to the wall and you can route your pipes nicely. Right, let's try to push this in. Wow, that's going to have to go up loads. Also, I think my pipes might be stopping it from going back, so I'm going to have to try. I think they've been bunched up at the back, so I'm just going to lie down now underneath here and try to pull them along under this bit. I'm going to pull the waste all the way through. and then sort it afterwards. Now let's see, is that going to go back? Ah, there we go, yes, excellent. Right, this should be fun. I've got loads to lift up. I hope there's enough length on these legs. So I'm using a 13mm spanner here, 13mm. And we're going this way. So we're going from right to left to lift it. And I've got to do it bit by bit. I can see this side is now moving up. So now I'm going to go over this side. And again, right to left. And obviously, if you went the other way, you're going to drop it. So right to left will lift it, and left to right will lower it. Hopefully you can see that's starting to lift up. Now I'm going to have to do this bit by bit along with the middle one as well. So let's do a couple more here, and then the middle one is going to lift the leg at the back. The little leg at the back as well. I should have shown you that earlier. So now, luckily they've labelled it up for us. So if you have a look here, can you see that we have a down arrow? So if we go this way, if we go clockwise, it's going to move it down, and clockwise is going to move it up, and counterclockwise is going to move it down. So we want to go clockwise to lift it up. So I'm going to do this along with the front, because otherwise it's just going to keep putting it's going to be tilting backwards. And actually, if you look up here, when I do it, you can see that it is starting to move out. So if I do it at that angle there, and I'm going to keep turning it, you will see that it is moving out. I can see it's moving from here, you see. Right, okay, this is going to take quite some time. Right, we're getting there. The back leg is definitely the hardest to do. It feels like it can sometimes be a bit crunchy as it goes round. These two go round really easy. I suppose it's because you've got two at the front and one at the back. There's going to be more weight on that one. It's fine, it just feels a bit squeaky sometimes. And that's the size that I'm using there. You can see compared to my fingertip, really I could do with something about twice the size, because even this one's slipping out every now and then. What I'm doing, I'm just getting my mark in here. I can sort of tell when the back's relatively straight according to the cupboards here. I don't know how straight the cupboards are. I'm assuming they're going to be alright. I got a little level, I'll pop it on in a minute. Right, so I'm getting close now. We actually wanted it, we want it butted up. So you know the metal things that we screwed in earlier, we want them to be against it. So you can see I've got another few mil to go here. So I'm going to do the back one a little bit too much, and then hopefully when I do these it will line up then. Right, this level isn't the best, so if you're ever unsure about your level, always turn it round both ways. So for example, if you're measuring something level here, turn it both ways, so that way and that way, or that way and that way. And then you're sure, then you kind of know if your level's out or not. So basically, I'm going across here, and that was one out, but it's not now because the door's closed. So I'm looking at the cupboard here, and I can see it's level. And the cupboard here, the dishwasher looks okay. At the bottom, it looks okay. And if I open up this, let's see what that looks like. Just resting on the buttons, not pressing down the buttons. Yeah, that's nice. Right, so you can see it there, and if I turn the level around and rest it again, you can hopefully see that it's okay. And if I close it, and when I put it across here, I can see that that's in the middle there, up top here, and here as well. So I think we're good to go. So I think the hardest part now is going to be fitting the door, because it looks ridiculously complicated. Now remember, my kitchen's not brand new, so I'm reusing the door that was on the Zanussi one. Now you've got to make sure that these are counter sunk in, but I'm not, because they're nearly flat, and I've offered it up and it doesn't seem to be fouling, because luckily it's on the black bit of the actual dishwasher here, which goes in a little bit. But obviously if yours is fouling, you need to make sure that you take that out, and you need to make sure they're nice and flush. If you're reusing the door from your old dishwasher, then chances are that they're already going to be counter sunk. But when I offer this up here, I know, because I had a look earlier, when I have this door open, I can see that the screws are not actually fouling, that this goes nice and flat against it. So I know the screws are not fouling anything. Obviously if your screws are fouling, you're going to have to countersink them. Right, this bit is really important, because you don't want to get it round the wrong way. So obviously the door is going to be on like that when it's finished. So we want to rotate it like that. So it's back to front with the handle on the front. And then we want to slide it this way. Handle's here, we want to slide it this way. So our handle is up the top there, facing the dishwasher, and it's back to front there. So let me do that one more time. So we have the handle here, so that's where it's going to be. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to slide it down there. Otherwise, nothing's going to line up. Now we have to draw a line down the middle of this door. So it's 600 wide, but it's just a little bit less than that. It's about 4 mils less than that. So that's going to be 300 take away 2 mil. So 300 take away 2 mil is going to be 298. And I'll do the same at the bottom. And I'm going to join those lines together. I'm not going to go, I'm just going to go here and here. Okay, so we've got our middle of our door. Now you need to grab your instructions, and they have arrows on them. So you want to have the arrows pointing up. Now, I don't actually know if there's a difference between them. I think that one side is for like a full door, and I think the other side of the instructions is for if you have drawers at the top. So I'm using a full door. I don't know if you can even see that there, but it looks like there's a drawer at the top, while my one here is a full door. So I'm just following the instructions on this side. So arrows up, and what we need to do is there's a little, there's a helpful little measure just here on this side. We want to mark up where the cupboard next to it is, because that's where our drawer's going to be lining up on both sides, yeah? So let me zoom in on that. So I can see, so I've butted this right up against the work top, and I can see that it's about here. And now I'm going to do the same on the other side. Here. So now I need to transfer that down here. So we're going to bring that down, and what we need to do is where we marked off, that's going to be off. So don't have the top of the paper level with your door. Have the door level with the mark on the paper. So that's going to be there, that's going to be that side, and then down at the bottom here, it's a bit awkward because I can't see. That needs to be, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip this here, because I can see where the crease of the paper is. The crease is there, so I need that to line up there. There, and I suppose we need this to line up here as well, don't we? So that's the line here, there. I'm just using the crease off the paper. I'll zoom in and show you in a second. So that looks to be correct. So I'm going to sellotape that down. I'm going to do it in multiple places because I don't want it to come loose. I don't mind if I have to spend a few minutes taking the sellotape off the wood afterwards. So if you have a look here, can you see I've marked where the top of the paper is? And the top of the paper, that side as well. Yeah. And line lines up with the crease of the paper. And line lines up with the crease of the paper. And then I've just sellotaped it. So what we now have to do is we have to drill. Well, I tell you to mark it first. So we have to punch here, 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 two here, there, and there. So, well, you can see that that one is going to be in the hole of the door. So that's not going to do anything. So there's no point in me even doing that one there. But it's fine because there's plenty of other holes. You know, these are just standard cupboard doors. That's going to have the holes for the hinges, you see. So I've got a tiny little nail. Obviously, you can use a hole punch. And I'm just going to go into the middle of each of them. Not going to do that one. Obviously, you could put a towel or something underneath the handle if you're worried about your floor. I'm not. And now it's telling us to drill a 2mm diameter hole 12mm down. Now I'm not going to be able to measure what is 12mm down because my drill won't have this, a stop on it. So I'm just going to find a small drill bit. I don't even know if I've got 2mm. It's just going to be a little pilot hole to allow you to screw the screws into. I'm going into oak here. I'm quite confident the screw's going to go straight into it anyway. No bother without a pilot hole. But I'll see if I've got one. Right, I'm going to take my drill off hammer. This, I think it's 2mm, I'm not 100% sure. It might be a tiny bit bigger. So I'm only going to go a few mil down because I want the screw to do the rest. This is only to make sure the screw's going to go into the right place. There we go. So now we're going to take this off. There we go. Hopefully you can see all the little pilot holes around the place. Now we're going to be using these things here and 4 of those small screws there. And these are going to be going on with the kick going down and obviously flat. Don't put them on that way because it's not going to lie flat. So you want them to lie flat so the kick's coming up. So it's going to be like that, so you can feel it coming up there, and like this here. And again, it's the same Torx bit as before, Torx 20. There we go. I'm not overly tightening them. I don't want to strip the thread out. Next up, we have to put these little sticky pads. They just help stick the door on while we're going to screw it in. So if you have a look here on the instructions, it tells you 45mm in from the edge and 155 down, and that will be the top right-hand corner of it. 155 about here, and 45 is going to be here. So I'm going to peel off that there and stick that there. I can't see how that has to be an exact science. There we go. I suppose you just don't want it on the black bit of the actual dishwasher. You're going to want it on the metal bit, not the black bit. And as well as that, you want it on the rails, you know? The rails off here. Yeah, not in the middle bit. So 155. 45 here. There we go. Now we're going to have to offer this up and try to stick it in place. So first of all, they're fully pushed down, and I'm going to take off the other bit of double-sided bit. So sticky. There we go. That's sticky there now. Okay, let's try to line this up. So I'm going to drop it in. Obviously, I don't want to put the sticky tape down until I have it where I think it's going to be, left and right. So I think it needs to be over that way. I think that's it there. Right, here goes. Right, applying a bit of pressure. Not bad. Okay. So now, is it going to allow me? Yes, it does. Fantastic. So that's what you need the sticky tape for. It allows you to open it then. And now I can put my screws in. Oh no. What? It doesn't fit the bottom. You can't open it up. Oh no. What on earth? It overhangs too much. I've dumped the other Zanussi now. They recycled it when they took this one. Can you see there? It's not going down because the wood's fouling. The wood's fouling on the metal off the dishwasher. Oh no, what a disaster. Ha ha. Nobody said that in the instructions. Oh, there. Oh, it's okay. Phew! It hits and goes up. So really, I need this to go a little bit, I need this to go even higher. Or do you reckon it's going to just screw in? Maybe it will just screw in? So, something hasn't lined itself up right. This is why it's good to show when things go wrong, because now you won't make that mistake. So what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to have to drop the washing machine a bit, and then I'm going to have to raise the door a little bit. So I'm going to drop this by a few mil. I'm not a million miles out, it's just fouling on this bit here. You see this bit? This is where the door kicks into. When the door comes out along, it goes up and it kicks into this bit. And at the moment it's hitting here, and then I'm having to force it into here when it should, I presume, clear nicer. So it's unfortunate. I did what the instructions says, but I remember I at one stage looked up replacement doors for this kitchen to see if I could modernise it a bit. And this kitchen was from Wickes, which is a big DIY store here in the UK, and I couldn't find doors to fit it. I can't remember if they were too big or too small. I'm thinking now they must have been a little bit too big compared to the standard kitchen size door, because when I compared it to B&Q, I couldn't get doors from B&Q to fit this Wickes one here. And when I looked online, they seemed to be B&Q, because different companies will sell you fronts for cupboards so you can modernise your kitchen. And they seem to be the same size as the B&Q ones. So I'm thinking the Zanussi dishwasher was probably installed at the same time as a Wickes kitchen, and it's all made to fit each other. But now, of course, I'm getting a Bosch one, and trying to fit it into a Wickes kitchen many years later. So I don't think you're going to have this problem. I think I'm just unlucky that the Wickes doors are ever so slightly bigger than a standard kitchen door. I will measure them later on in the video and I'll show you that in a little bit. So what I'm having to do is I'm having to lower via the legs the whole dishwasher by about 4 mil, quite a bit, and I'm having to raise up the door again. So the door isn't going to be 4 mil down from the top, I'm raising up the door about 4 mil, and by doing that it will then hopefully clear when I open it up, because compared to the dishwasher it's been raised up. But annoyingly now the dishwasher isn't perfectly under the worktop, it's about 4 mil lower. Right, we're in as far as the top is concerned. Are you going to open it? Come on. Yes. Brilliant. Excellent. I actually got away with that pretty good. Now we need to screw the door in. I'm happy with the alignment of it. I think I was quite lucky there that I got away with that. So I've got the 6 long screws here, and you remember the ones that we drilled, the pilot holes that we drilled? Well, we need to take out the screws from all there. In fact, this one's already missing and this one's missing. This one I'm not going to take out because I didn't drill because of the hinge. So I need to take out this one here, and they're going to be discarded, and the same this side. So if you've forgotten, you can just get the instructions back, and remember the pilot holes? They're the ones that you're unscrewing. And now I need to do up these ones here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to offer up the wood right up to the metal. I just want to make sure that it's not going to be too long and go through the front. No, so I can see there it's not too long, it's not going to go all the way through the wood. There we go, don't want to go too tight. Right, let's see now, are you going to open and close? Yes? Oh, much better. Oh, there we go, all the way down. Fantastic. Right, so now we're going to have to start fixing it onto the top. I'm using 2 of the small screws, not the ones that you took out here, but the ones you got with the kit. We're going to be screwing in these brackets up here now. So we're going to be screwing in the corner one here and the corner one here. Now you can see on mine I've had to, well, you basically see the massive gap that I've got here. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pull this out and maybe pack this out with washers a bit to try to lift this whole thing up a little bit. Right, so let's slide this out. And I'm just going to loosen up these 2 here. Let's see if we can raise them a bit. I've got a big bag of washers that I got from B&Q here in the UK. It does seem like a bit of a rip-off, but you get these little bags and you can really fill them up. I can't remember how much it costs, £5, and they just have an assortment of different things. So what I did is I was after the M bolts, all different sizes, but to fill up all the gaps I just put a load of little washers in, because they're the sort of things, those washers will last me my lifetime. So what I'm thinking is of just packing in maybe 4 washers underneath, and that will build this level up then. So it'll still be secure. It should still grip in these bits. So I'm putting these washers in to try to make the brackets lie flush straight underneath the kitchen worktop like they would have been if I had a standard door size. So I've created a lot of work for myself, but what can I do? I've just Googled if
Wickes kitchen door fronts are a standard size, and it says here Wickes doors are not a standard height of 715mm, they are 726mm. Well, there we go, that is the answer. So basically they're 11mm bigger. That's huge, 1.1 centimeters. So you can see Bosch has actually allowed for quite a bit of variation on maybe the fitting of the door. If you don't get it spot on, it should be still okay, because I've only had to raise mine by 4mm and it fits underneath. So I did have my measurements all correct. It's just that the Wickes door, I didn't realise, is not a standard height door. So that's why I'm struggling so much. So hopefully you will not struggle like I have, unless you also have a Wickes door. And if you do, you know now you can do what I've done, which is drop the dishwasher by 4mm and then raise the door by 4mm, and hopefully you will just have enough clearance like I have done, and then you can pack it out with 4mm washers like I've done here. Now in the instructions it just says to hold it in with 2 screws. I do hold it in with 2 screws, one on each side, but then I get another couple of screws and I screw it in as well, just to make the brackets nice and firmly underneath that kitchen worktop, and that way then when we open up the dishwasher door it's not going to be wobbling everywhere. But at least the mystery is solved now. Wickes kitchen door fronts are definitely not a standard size. At least we know.
There we go. That's nice, there's no movement or wobble there. Well, I'm happy with how that is there, and I can see that the seal down here is all up against the wood. The seal here is not really. It is on this side a tiny bit, but it's a little bit off from there. And there's no seal here at all because it's at the edge here, there's a big gaping gap. So I think it'll be okay. From memory, the Zanussi one didn't even have any seals at the edge, so the very fact that we've got one edge sealed is going to be a bonus. And you can see there, it's not fouling up the top here. There's just enough room. And it goes all the way to the bottom, which is good. Right, next step. Now the instructions tell you to do the plinth next, but I just want to do this bit because I want to be able to reach underneath before I put the plinth on and make sure that there's no kinks or anything in those big feed cables, and also the waste cable as well. So let's start with the plug. So I'm just going to plug the plug in. I'm not going to turn it on. In fact, I normally put that in via a breaker. So that's going to be living there, but I'm not putting it on at the moment. Now this, I want that plug away from that, so that's going to be going, this is going to be going in here. I want to do it so that it's not fouling anything. Obviously the water's off at the moment, so that's going to be going like that. I presume, I don't know what that is in there. I'm not sure what, is it some sort of filter, or I don't know what, it looks like to be a cable in here. I'm not sure what. You could put that down in the comment section because I've never seen that before. So I just want to line this up by hand, I don't want to cross thread this. There we go, so I kind of took the weight off the cable, you know, when I was doing that, the pipe. Now apparently with this you do just do it up by hand tight. So I'm just pointing that downwards just purely for neatness because there's all cleaning products shoved in this cupboard. Right, well, I'm pretty confident that that is hand tight. I'm not going to use a tool on it, it tells you not to use a tool. So hopefully that will be alright, but we'll turn it on at the end and we'll see. Right, let's do the waste. And now when it comes to this top bit, they do give you one of these. So the idea is that you would put it on there like so, and then put the pipe on and then use some pliers to put that on and squeeze it on. But I've already got a Jubilee clip from before, which I think will be a better job. I just like Jubilee clips more. So I'm going to feed that back through there, and I'm going to put this on here. obviously if you've never done this before, this was previously working, then you would have to undo this connection and there's going to be some like sealing washer in there and then do it back up. But with this one, it was already working. So obviously the waste can go through here and use the waste off the sink. So I'm going to put that down as much as I can. There we go. And now I'm going to use the Jubilee clip to clamp on to here. Right, that's on there now. That's not going to come off. And that's there. So I can still put all my cleaning products and stuff around here, and that will hopefully be out of the way. Right, so I've got it pushed through here, and I've also got it pushed through at the bottom, down here. Now I'm just going to lie down and I'm going to make sure that there's no pipes that are kinked or anything down deep inside here. So power cable's fine. The water inlet there is looped nicely around there. There's no kink in that. That's nice and smooth. And if I'm honest with you, I can't see the waste at all because I presume it's just gone. Let me see if I can feel it from the top. I can feel the waste one from the top here. Looks like it's going around this way. I can feel it when I put my hand across the top here. So I don't think that that's going to be kinked. I think we're all okay there. I'm just going to get the plinth. I just want to see, is it going to line itself up like it did before with the Zanussi one, or will the door not open? It says in the instructions that you have to cut a bit out of the plinth, which seems a big lot of hassle. Now, a couple of my clips have broken. This has only ever been held on with 2 clips. I need to replace the clip here because it's broken. I just want to see if, I'll tell you what, let's put the good clip here because I want it to be pulled in. And I want to see, is it going to clear? That's going to be on there. That's going to be there. So that's where the plinth roughly is going to live. Let's see, moment of truth. Is it going to foul? Yes, of course it's going to foul. Not badly though. If that was in a bit more. See, maybe, I think what's happened here is this is a Wickes kitchen, and I did look in to see if it was possible to kind of get new cupboards just to give it a bit of a facelift. And these are not the same size as the B&Q ones. So I think the reason I've been unlucky is because I think these are possibly non-standard size. Let me just give the length of the door. So these doors are 70, they look to be 73 centimetres, so 730 mil. And maybe the B&Q ones are just a few mil less.
There you go, 730 mil, and we know that the B&Q ones are definitely less than that, and they're more than a few mil less, so about 1.5 centimetres less. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm just doing a little pencil mark on the plinth where it's catching. So I open up the door and I put a pencil mark either side of where the door's hitting the plinth. We just need to get the planer out and take a little bit off the plinth. If I had to take a big chunk out of the plinth, I'd use a jigsaw, but because I only need to take what feels like 1 or 2 mil, I'm just going to use the planer for this bit. Your eyes are not going to be looking down that closely to see that the plinth has reduced in height by a couple of mil over the whole length.
Now what the instructions recommend is they have these things here. So obviously it's going to depend on what plinth you have, but if you have a look here, can you see that these are designed to fit in here like so? Like that, yeah? And then you can screw these into the plinth. The problem I've got, so you would measure it up and you would screw these into the plinth, you know, here, and then they would go in here. And the idea is that you bend some of these sections out. So if you wanted it to go in so far, you would bend out this one here. Obviously you'd have to measure. I'm just doing this just quickly to show you. So you can see that that's bent out there now, and then it's only going to go in as far as the bends, because you can see that that little bit is bent out. Yeah, it can only go in as far as the bends. Now, it would be nice to use that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to measure it, but I'm not going to screw this into the plinth because I need my plinth to be able to slide in and out. But I'm still going to measure it against these ones here. So I'm going to bend them properly, and that way then it'll be nice because it will stop. The problem with the Zanussi one is this plinth used to get knocked in here sometimes and then it will pop out the other side. So that is actually quite a nice little thing. So I'm going to measure that against this one here, so I know it's not that one. I need to push that one back in, and I need to go in a bit deeper. I'm just going to bend that one back in. If I'm honest, I'm not sure how to measure these. So let's do it from here, and we know that there's got to be not level with it but a little bit more out. That looks about right there, because that's going to be just a bit out from that plinth. So I'm just going to count from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I bent the 7th one out, then I think that's going to be the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be pretty nice, I think. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same on this side, because if it's there, it should be the same on the other side as well. So now let me just see if, I really like that. Let me see now if this plinth is going to fit like so. There we go. So now look, it doesn't kick in because of those bits there. That's really good. Right, let me just shave off a little bit of that, and then we should be done. On purpose, I've actually done it at a bit of an angle that way, because when the door's closing it needs to clear here, but it will probably be okay there because of the movement off the door. So I've done it at an ever so slight angle. Alright, let's get that lined up now. Here and there. Look at that, we're in. Right, so that's there, that's there, that's there. And now if you look, if I'm not there, it no longer goes flying in anymore. And check this out. It doesn't foul. Hallelujah. We got there eventually. Well, let's turn the water on, turn the power on, and let's see if we can get this thing going. Is it going to leak here? No, turn the power on, reset, test, reset. Really, I don't need a breaker in there because I've already got the breaker at the main fuse board. I've just had it in there for years on the Zanussi because I had problems with the Zanussi. Oh, look at that. We have a little red light here. Amazing. Oh, it's come alive. It's alive. Oh, brilliant. Right, I'm going to have a big clean up. I'm going to get my wife to hopefully she'll know how to work this. If not, we'll have to read the instructions. I'm hoping operation is going to be easier than installation, because that installation was not easy whatsoever. Look at this. This is a nice feature. The Zanussi didn't do this one. If you push in here, it allows you to drop it to a different level so you can put higher stuff in. And then in this and the other side, and it just lifts up and it locks it into the higher position. That's nice. Right, so rinse aid has been put in there, and this is where you would put your tablet. Locks in there. This is nice. Little drawer here, so the tablet gets released into this top section, it looks like, when it's working. Rather than, I think the Zanussi dropped it to the bottom, so maybe if it goes here, it has a more even disbursement. So just add in some salt. I think what happens is when you fill it with water, I think the water goes via the salt reservoir, then up through into the machine. Right, there's not much of a load there. I just want to see if it's working. So a bit of a waste, but it's just the first time using it. So turn it on. Nice. Let's go to auto. So 2 hour, 15 minutes. Water's on, electric's on, waste pipe's connected. Let's go. Got my rinse aid in, tablet in, and salt in. Hopefully it's going to fill with water. Maybe I have to press something. Oh, start. I think you've got to hit start here. Now it's stopped flashing. Now let's see. Oh yeah, there's a red light down here now. Oh, I can hear movement. Wow, that's quiet. Normally you could hear the water rushing in on the Zanussi from across the house. It says silence on it, and it really does. It really does sound silent. I can hear tiny little things coming from it. Well, I'm going to let it do its thing. Hopefully, maybe in about half an hour or an hour. Normally, I can feel a little bit of warmth on here from the Zanussi one, so I presume I'm going to feel the warmth on here. And then I think we'll finish the video when it's been done, just to make sure that the dishes have been washed. At long last, the light has gone out. So let's open up. And let's see, I can feel the warmth. Let's see, are things dry? Yes, they are. And they're nice and clean. Everything feels nice and warm. Fantastic. And down here. Brilliant. Well, it looks like it's worked a treat. And have we got any leaking going on? So there's no leak in there. And there's no leak in here either. So it's the next day now, and although I had a headache with it, I really do like the dishwasher, mainly because of how quiet it is, and it says silence just here. Registered this morning for the Bosch guarantee, the warranty on it. 5 years they give you, 5 years, which is good. Parts and labour in the UK anyway. So I think you won't have the same hassles I had, but I think the video will be useful to you because I went through so many problems with it. I think you're going to understand the installation more than if everything just went smooth sailing from the very beginning. So I appreciate it's a very long video, but I think if you did watch it, even if you watched it at ×2 speed, that will get it down to underneath half an hour. Then I think you'll have a good idea of whether or not you're going to have any problems doing it. Basically, if your cupboards are 730 millimeters like mine, 73 centimeters, I think you're going to have the exact same problem as me. So you know, before even doing any of that, just to lower it down, maybe about this much to give you plenty of room, and then you see you can raise the door higher, and that way then you're going to have more clearance on the plinth, and you're also going to have more clearance when you go to open it. So you won't have the same headaches as me. So yeah, hopefully if your cupboards are standard size, you're not going to have any headaches at all, and it will be a nice, easy installation. So there we have it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a massive thumbs up. I've got no regrets at all buying it, and I'm hoping it will give many years hassle-free service. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.